Hey everybody, welcome back to Baseline Farms. My name is Jade. Hope everyone's doing well. So you guys, it has been so hot the past few days. Yesterday was a holiday, 4th of July weekend, and it was so nice. It was like in the 80s. It was beautiful. The weather was so beautiful. We did go to work. My daughter and I just did go to work yesterday just to go water some containers so we could have a weekend off. And so that's what we did. And then today it's supposed to be in the 90s. So I'm out here and I want to plant some seeds. It is not too late in our zone to go ahead and plant some seeds. We're in zone 9. We live in Northern California. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some pumpkins. I have never had good success with pumpkins. And then I was looking at the back of one of the pumpkin packets and did a little research. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it, because if you do not plant the seed, you're never going to know if it's ever going to grow. So I am going to plant all these little pumpkin seeds, and I'm going to plant these seeds all around the garden where I have all these flowers growing. Oh my goodness, you guys, these flowers, as I'm planting, I'm going to give you a glimpse of these flowers. They're so beautiful. The dahlias, the gladiolas, these little bins right here. I mean, it doesn't give it justice. The camera does not give it justice of how bright and beautiful these containers are. And then I am also going to plant some dill. I'm going to plant some bush beans. And what else? Just a bunch of seeds for our zone. So that's what I'm going to do today. And our date is July 5th. So today is July 5th, Saturday. And that's what we're doing. And then John is over there working out in the field. He's like piling up some gravel. I don't even know. Keeping busy. That's what we're doing. And then I want to show you how the little garden's going, like how it's doing. I want to plant a bunch more seeds in a little garden and just fill up any spots possible and just have it like just a array of flowers. And I want the seeds to drop on the ground, and I want them to continue to reseed every year. That's my goal for that little garden, is just to make it into a cut flower garden. Now I think I've only cut maybe one jar of flowers, because I'm outside so much that there's no sense in putting them inside, because I can enjoy them outside. So they're just so beautiful. And then what else has been happening? You guys, I've been making mozzarella cheese. Now in the last video, I thought I mentioned that I was making mozzarella cheese with the goat's milk, but I didn't. And it is so stinking good. I am addicted. It's just delicious. I bought the animal rennet from New England Cheese Making Company, I believe it's called, and I have been making mozzarella cheese. It tastes just like cow mozzarella cheese made from cow's milk, just like it. It's just so delicious. And then you can salt it for whatever saltiness you want, which is really nice. So what else we've been doing? So I made mozzarella cheese because I did that cheese with the vinegar. And so I'm at the next level, mozzarella. And I know you can make all different kinds of cheese. You just have to buy the rennet for it. I did buy some culture for a soft cheese called chev. I think that's how you pronounce it. So I did buy some culture because I want to know how to make that. And I also want to make some goat milk soap. I want to make some goat milk soap. I feel like we have been getting a gallon of milk day, a day, a gallon of milk a day. We don't go through a gallon of milk a day. It takes us probably about maybe a week to go through a gallon of milk. And so I'm trying to utilize the milk as much as possible. I want to make some ice cream, like popsicle sticks, like popsicles. So I bought the molds for that. I went into the rabbit hole. I'm going to make all these things. I don't know with what time, but I'm doing it. I am doing it. And the cheese, the mozzarella cheese, is grateable. I made a quesadilla the other day. You guys, you don't even know how accomplished you feel when you milk the goat and then you're making cheese with it, and then next thing you know, I can't wait to lather my face up with this goat milk soap. I am so stinking excited. And then I'm going to attempt to make a salve. I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, the mosquitoes are horrible right now, and sometimes I forget I'm out here during mosquito time when the mosquitoes are at their peak, and I forget to put any kind of mosquito repellent. And sometimes I'm just, I'm just working. I just forget. And so one of my girlfriends gave me this drawing salve. See that? And this is what it looks like. Kind of a dark charcoal. I have been using this drawing salve. Salve, I think that's how you pronounce it. This stuff is a miracle worker. You just put it on any kind of stings or bite. I never knew about this until she gave it to me, and I was like, drawing salve. I had this mosquito bite and it was driving me bonkers. And so I was just like, I saw this, I put it on there. It draws out the toxins from whatever bite, like splinters, bug bites, whatever bug bite you have. You put that salve on there and it's black. It's like it's charcoal. It immediately stops the itching. You don't have any itching. You just rub it in. You could put a Band-Aid on top of it if you want to, but I had so many mosquito bites that there was not enough Band-Aids that I could put all over the place. So I just put that on at night and it sucked out all the stuff and the itchiness was gone. So I'm going to get all things to use to make this salve because I only have one and I want more. I want more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save those little glass jars, for the facial cream and things like that. I'm going to save those jars and I'm going to put these salves in it and I'm going to give them away for gifts because this, I had no idea you can make it and how easy it is. You could make it with charcoal. You could buy it on Amazon. I went and I did my research and I found out so you can buy that charcoal activated something charcoal. When I make it, I'll do a little video on it and I'll just do it as I'm doing it because it's going to be my first time. So you could put all kinds of stuff. You could put a drying clay with some drying charcoal like that because I know that charcoal does draw poisons, but I did not know that you can make a salve out of it. Amazing. So that's what I want to do also. So I got to put that in my pocket so I don't lose it. What else? But I think that's pretty much it. Plant some dill. I'm going to plant the dill in the metal containers and I'm going to plant the beans in some of the garden beds that I pulled out the onions. The pumpkins are going to go around the outside, like the perimeter of the garden where I have all the flowers and the perennials. And then I'm going to plant what else? Some cantaloupe in one of the garden beds because I have a little cantaloupe growing in the little garden and it's looking so stinking cute. And I just want some cantaloupe. So I feel like we could still plant it. I looked in the back of the packet. It says that we could still plant them. I'm going to attempt to plant them. Well, not attempt. I'm going to plant them and hopefully get some fruit from these seeds we're about to plant in July. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First, we're gonna go ahead and pop in the beans. It's so easy. There's nothing to it. So let's just go there. I'll show you what garden beds we're gonna be planting these beans in. And they're just bush beans. They're called jade bush beans, of course. I don't think I planted any, so we're gonna plant some jade bush beans. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so over here in this garden bed, this is a garden bed that I have some tomatoes. I think these are the Ace 55 tomatoes and the Celebrity Plus tomatoes growing right over here in this garden bed. And I have some cucumbers. Now I have some cucumbers on this trellis. Let me pull up my hair real fast. I have these cucumbers on this trellising thing right here. And these are masonry ladders. I just found them at the Home Depot in the cement section, I think it's called. And they were pretty inexpensive when I purchased them and they last a long time. So I think it's made out of galvanized steel. I think, I'm not too sure. So that's what we're gonna do is we're gonna plant the bush beans. I have these jade bush beans right here that I'm gonna pop into this garden bed. And I do have drip in the garden bed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put the seed where the little emitter or where the little drip holes are at, where the water's coming out. So, and this one says it's a 55-day harvesting or maturity date. So it says here, in 6 to 12 days, that's when I'll see the seeds emerge as long as the birds don't eat them. Ooh, and that reminds me, I have some new cloth that I could put over the top of it. It's like like a netted cloth. I bought it from the fabric shop, like Joann's House of Fabric, before they went out of business. And I think I could put that over the top of it to prevent the birds from eating it. I'm going to try it. So I'm going to plant these seeds, and I'm going to do a heavily, like I'm going to sow them pretty heavily. So even though I'm going to plant them at the emitters, I'm going to plant a lot. And what else? I think that's pretty much it. So we're going to plant some jade bush beans. Did I mention that? Bush beans. So these are not the trellising type. These are going to grow into little bushes. And hopefully we get a few harvests of beans, because right now I only have the beans that are on the trellis that are producing phenomenal, but I feel like I want more, because I want to do some pickling, like a fermented dill. I think they're called dilly beans. So I want to do some fermented stuff. So I want to try that out. And we did freeze some for last year. Last year we had some beans, and I did blanch them and freeze them. And it was so nice to be able to use that in soups and dishes and things like that, just to pull them out of the freezer, which is so awesome. So yeah, let's just get started on planting. And what else? And then I'll just show you the other garden bed that we're going to be planting these bush beans in as well. So we're going to plant 2 beds full of bush beans, 1 bed with some cantaloupe, and then, you know, the other containers with some dill. All right, so now we have this other garden bed where we have the basil, and I believe we have, I forgot what, I think we have that one pineapple pig. I think that's what it's called. Let me go look. On the other side of this trellis, let's see, yep, pineapple pig. That's so funny. I cannot wait to see what these tomatoes look like. All right, so these guys right here, that's what I'm talking about, these tomatoes. All right, so right here in this garden bed, we have a bunch of basil. Now I do have 2 cucumber plants in this garden bed. And this is the garden bed that we had a bunch of yellow onions that I just pulled out. The first garden bed that I planted the beans in, we had some red onions growing in that one. So I am going to plant some bush beans in this garden bed as well. And because we don't need a trellising system, we could just plant them right here. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did in the garden bed over there. Is I'm just going to plant the beans, and then I'm going to water them in immediately, so that way I don't forget, because it is already starting to get warm. And I think today is supposed to be like 90 degrees. I should have cleaned out this garden bed, but you know, I just let the stuff decompose right into the garden bed. And yeah, just feeds the garden bed. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning all about this, you know, feeding the garden bed. But the weeds, you guys, the weeds are just off the hook. Now that vinegar concoction that I used, it's working, you guys. Everywhere that I sprayed it, and I kind of sprayed it willy-nilly all around the garden, because I did not think it was going to work on some of these really tough weeds. So I kind of sprayed here and there. I kind of sprayed it all around. I could see the spots that I definitely missed. And now that I know that it works, I'm going to go and look to see how much it costs to actually, you know, do the math on spray the whole garden, so that way I could get some mulch down or do something. I'm just tired of the weeds growing in the garden beds, and I spend so much time pulling at the weeds that I wish I put down some kind of weed barrier before I put the garden beds down. I just didn't realize how bad the weeds are going to be, and I didn't know they're going to grow into the garden beds this severely. And I spent so much time weed eating the garden beds, which it would be nice if I could just have weed-free garden beds where I could just plant the seed in and not spend so much of my time weed eating them or pulling out the weeds. That would be amazing. That would just be amazing. But right now, this is what I have, and this is what I have to work with, and I'm not complaining about anything. I just hate the weeds, and I'm sure every gardener can understand, you know, what I'm going through with these weeds. And you know, sometimes you just want to plant the seed and not have to spend time out here weed eating, because that just takes so much fun out of planting. The planting part is the fun part. The harvesting part is the fun part. I love both of those things. But pulling up the weeds, not so fun. Maybe some people enjoy it, but not me. I don't enjoy it. But I'm hoping that this vinegar weed killer works around the garden beds, and then I just can come through and maybe, you know, I don't know, use one of those little hula ho things and to remove the weeds from against the garden beds. But I feel that these weeds that are inside the garden beds, they're here to stay until I can figure out how to get rid of them. Let me just get that one. Okay, enough of pulling the weeds. I could just sit here and pull weeds all day while I'm talking, but I want to plant some seeds. That's what I want to do, because I haven't really spent a lot of time out here because we've been so busy working out in the field, you know, just going out to the job sites. And it's that time of season where it's time to plant things and, you know, change out flowers and things like that, change out containers. But today is my day to play in the garden and get this stuff done. All right. So we're going to plant some bush beans, and I'm going to do like how I did the other garden bed and just kind of plant them and just plant a nice thick row and maybe clean it up as I go. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. And it's not that hard. You just want to put it in the soil. That's it. You know what, I could plant a lot in here because we just have these basil right here, and the basil will just take up that space. Now, when I trellis, I'm going to put some trellising up for the cucumbers. And so, yeah, we'll still be okay with these beans. So I'm just going to pop them in everywhere where I see a little emitter and get a bunch of beans so we could do some dill beans or fermented beans or whatever. I'm going to pull up a recipe. I want to do all kinds of, I just want to do all kinds of things, you guys. I have so many plans and ideas. All right, so let's get started. All right, so now that we have those beans all planted and watered in, now we're going to start our cantaloupe, you guys. I cannot wait. I hope I get some cantaloupe, and I cannot wait to see if these are going to grow. Now, it says here we can plant these in our zone 9 from July through August, and we are in the beginning of July, so hopefully we get some melons. And it says the maturity date is 90 days. All right, you guys, so hopefully we get a bunch of melons, and I'm just going to plant a bunch of seeds in here. This is one of those garden beds that I did not do a good job weed eating, but that's okay because I don't think these, hopefully these seeds don't care, and they'll just grow in abundance. So I'm just going to plant, I'm going to put 3 in each little area, and hopes for the best, and hopes that we get some cantaloupe. I hope they grow, you guys. I hope they grow. You know, they say seeds are resilient, and I just hope that if I plant these seeds, then I'll get some cantaloupe. And at first I was thinking, you know, and I'm not going to plant them because I don't have any garden space, or I don't have any beds that I could plant these seeds in. And I do. They just have to be weed eated. That's it. I just have to pull the weeds out. And right now I just don't have time. And so I'm just going to plant the seeds in the weeds and hopes for the best, because I see these volunteer tomatoes growing all over the place, and they don't care if they're growing in the garden beds or if they're growing in the ground in the weeds. So I'm going to give these little puppies a chance and hope that this whole garden bed is filled with cantaloupe. As you can see, I planted a whole bunch of them. Like, I don't know how many I planted, but I planted a whole bunch because I don't have faith in myself, and I think that they're not going to come up. But you never know, right? I might surprise and shock myself, and Mother Nature is just going to take control and give me some cantaloupe. All right, so let's just go ahead and get this garden bed watered in, and now we're going to start some dill. All right, so now over here in this garden bed, we have a bunch of stuff growing. We have some Thai basil, we have a bunch of petunias, we have some lavender, we have some mint. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. We have, let's see, petunias and marigolds, some basil. So we do have a couple little gaps. I mean, I don't think the gaps are going to stay for very long because I know this stuff is going to really fill out. But I think what I'm going to do, see this little area right here? I'm going to pop in some dill seeds. And I don't see any other area in this garden bed. So I'm going to pop in a couple little dill seeds right in here. And I'm going to use the dill for the pickling, because we need some dill for pickles. So, and for all the other things that I want to put dill in, like I want to put dill, I don't know. I think we could put dill in all the fermentation foods. All right, so this packet obviously got wet. So let me see what else I got. Oh, here we go. All right, so this dill, it says here 85 days. It's going to sprout up in 7 to 14 days. So yeah, so let's just go ahead and pop in some dill right in there. I'm just going to scatter a little bit right underneath the lavender. And then that's pretty much it. And now I'm going to go ahead and put this dill in all of the little spots in all of the metal containers, like the wheelbarrows, these little metal containers that look just like this one with the lavender and stuff. I'm just going to pop dill all over the place. And now my cilantro is dying out. I'm trying to collect the seeds from the cilantro, so that's why I'll let it go to flower. But I am going to eventually cut that out because I don't need that many seeds from the cilantro. And then we're going to put the dill instead. All right, so let's go ahead and water this container in and then go to the other containers and pop in some dill. Okay, so now that we're done planting the dill, the cucumber, the cantaloupe, we are going to get started on our pumpkins. And so I have an array of pumpkin seeds. I have some jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. I have some butternut squash. I have some from Botanical Interest, some from Burpees, some from Donnie Selected Seeds. I have this one right here. What is this called? The Halloween blend. I have this sweet meat right here, which I cannot wait. I hope these all grow. I have this one right here. I don't even know how you pronounce the name, but it looks so cute. And I hope that I can have a bunch of pumpkins to flank my doorstep to the front of my house and to make pumpkin pie and to just, just to give away. Look at that. I want all of these pumpkins to grow in the garden. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and plant all of these seeds all the way around the garden and hope that they come out and we get to have some seeds. Oh, here's some more pumpkin on a stick. Oh, I did buy these a long time ago, and this is like a plant and it has little pumpkins growing off of it. Now I feel like I have to plant these in a container. So let me see here. Place outdoors. It doesn't really say in what month, but you know what? I think I could start these little pumpkin seeds. It's called a pumpkin on a stick. That'd be so cute. I think I could start these in containers. So I don't have any containers ready right now, but yeah, let's just go ahead and get started on planting these pumpkins. All right, so we're going to start some pumpkin seeds right over here by these gladiolas and just hopes for the best. So we're going to start off with these jack-o'-lantern pumpkin seeds. And then we're just going to, I'm just going to go ahead and alternate the pumpkin seeds. So we just have a different variety of pumpkins growing all the way around, at least hoping that they grow all the way around the garden. So that's what we're going to do. And so we have that. And then I have this little pick here to help me dig into the earth, so I could just get the seeds in there kind of deep. And I'm going to try to plant them by the flowers and the perennials, because that is where I put some mushroom compost. So let's go ahead and get started on planting these pumpkin seeds. All right, so we're done planting all of our seeds. We planted some cantaloupe, some dill, some bush beans, jade bush beans, and a variety of different pumpkins. And I hope they all pop up. So I am so excited to see what's going to happen. And then, oh my goodness, you guys, let me go show you the trellis. So that trellis is now full of beans. And I do need to harvest a bunch of beans, but you guys, I have been waiting for something to trellis over this trellis. I want to say for like at least 3 years or 3 seasons. Look at that. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh, you guys. And every day I come out here and some more, beans have grown and it's getting, all the way around. I'm like, look at these. I just came out here this morning. I just harvested some just, I want to say beginning of this week. And now it's time to harvest some more. So I am so excited. I cannot wait to pickle those and ferment those. And, I'm going to try to do, I say it all the time, but I really am going to make an attempt to pick up the camera when I do stuff like making cheese and making that salve, that charcoal drawing salve, and then maybe pickling these dill or like these dilly beans, I guess they call it. So yeah, a lot of things happening. Harvest season is right around the corner. We're going to be harvesting a bunch of things and preserving a bunch of stuff, along with planting a bunch of containers too for the job sites for work. So that's pretty much it, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and encourages you to plant some seeds. And yeah, all you have to do is read the packet. Look at the packet, read the backside, see when you can start planting the seeds, and it'll give you the months. And then just go ahead and try it. You'll never know unless you pop the seed into the ground if you're ever going to get anything. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Take care, be safe. If you do, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And then I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh.